Alright everybody, game on. Naventic versus Gale Force Esports. We have our first map starting. And well, let's check out how exactly this draft is going to happen. Because what I'm going to be interested in is how Zul is going to make an appearance in this best of three. We already saw him in the first one. We are in patch 16.5, of course, at the end of the Storm North America finals. And Naventic is going for the ban against Greymane. And once again, we have, considering like the teams, we have huge variety here in pick and ban patterns overall. Especially when you're looking at Cloud9, for example, and Naventic, the way that they are drafting is completely different. We have sometimes huge focus on heroes like Muradin, Greymane. Wasn't disregarded in the last best of three series that we casted here today, but he was definitely like a lot lower prioritized than what we are seeing currently from Naventic here. Gale Force with the ban on Zeratul, which we actually see a lot on the North American server. We've seen it in the last game as well. Especially Blaze didn't want to go up against the hero. And he is a great playmaker. I mean, that Void Prison is a solid start. Zul, for now, actually disregarded. Naventic saying, like, yeah, listen, Zul, yeah, we don't respect that guy anymore. Not after the last patch, after Blizzard nerfed him down. We're going to pick our Li Ming here for the damage, and then we're going to take it from there. At Gale Force, I mean, they could go into Zul now if they really want to play him here. And yeah, Falstad on Towers of Doom is amazing. I mean, we always talk on Cursed Hollow about Falstad, about how he can control bosses, how he can like fly in the map, how he gives you map control. On Towers of Doom, it's even more than that, because once that you have triple altar events on the map, that's really the time where Falstad can completely shine. Just move to the far side of the map, get one of those altars, or get one of those altars channeled through and fly to the team that is delaying until then, and turn it into a 5 versus 5 again. So that's one of the great strengths on Falstad. And if you consider how Zul was actually like banned out in the last best of three series or immediately picked, this is already changing things up a little bit. Gale Force decided to go for him after all then. So if we have Zul already taken and Li Ming is now being joined by potentially Rega. I mean, it depends a little bit on how Naventic is going to play it here. But when we're talking about like frontline, of course, we have Muradin as an option, we have a Thrall as an option, and Thrall actually chosen plus Muradin. Muradin, Thrall, pretty solid. Hambone, thanks for the resub, bro. But yeah, Muradin and Thrall both chosen here, and that still leaves us with supports. So Rega is still around. The teams can both go for their bans now. And when you talk about bans, I mean, like one of the things that Gale Force could definitely try and get rid of is either one of the supports or maybe like even another range damage dealer. Because Naventic, with the setup that they're running here with Thrall and Muradin at the front line, can use Muradin as a solo tank, so to say, and just rely a little bit on Thrall helping him out here. But especially if you go into, for example, Avatar and Stoneform, then later on, Muradin is gonna be, he's one of the best solo supports that we have in the game. Sorry, solo tanks that we have in the game. Rega in this case is the ban, and well, that starts to limit the options of Naventic already a bit, because Gale Force is going to have the next pick. So they are going to lock down whatever they deem more important here. But we still have Naventic with quite a few options beside that. I mean, even going to a Charism, for example, would already be good with the Thrall and the Muradin at the front line. And he also has the mobility in these cases. He has that cleanse that he can use if you give up the Echo of Heaven on level 7 so that you can work a little bit against the Bone Prison. But it will depend on what Gale Force picks on the last two picks, if you really need like a cleanse hero or what kind of like support we're going to see there. For Naventic, I mean, they could really feel and just ban out one of the frontliners that they don't want to go up against, and that's what they do. ETC is one of the things that they are a little bit afraid of. They have a lot of interrupts here already with Thrall in the Sun Ring, with Muradin going into the Stormbolt, but they still want to make sure that they are just on the safe side. One good mosh pit on the map, like on any map, but in Towers of Doom, there's, especially at the top lane, at the two altars, there's a couple of really like narrow gaps. If an ETC gets a mosh pit off there, you are in trouble, and you know that. So with the front line that they're running right now, they make sure that ETC is not going to be a case against them. Gale Force goes into that Uther. They banned out Rega already. Uther is going to help them with the Divine Shield and also the additional stun. Iacona actually showed in the last case, in the last game, a very nice Uther play already. And with that, what's going to be their front line? I mean, a Johanna is very likely. We have Thrall already. Like, no matter what happens here with the Stormbolt, with Thrall and his Wolf, having the Iron Skin is going to help you. Being able to rely also on the Shield Glare to just like blind Thrall for a bit is going to be great. So I feel like Johanna is more or less a given, I'd say. But they could still like try and get a bit more damage in. Maybe even a Johanna, sorry, a Sonya. Like a Sonya together with a Johanna wouldn't be too bad, actually. I actually feel that this would be a very nice move. Johanna taken first. It's kind of unlikely that the Naventic is moving into a Sonya now, too. They could, though. They could play Sonya Charism, for example, at this point. Sonya Karazim would be quite solid. They don't necessarily have to. I mean, you can go into different supports as well. I mean, you could go into Tassadar and Tyrande by all means. I mean, then you would have a massive focus on Thrall, of course, at the front, because you need to really just like shield him, get the heals in, but you have the Owl. I don't really feel like it would be necessarily the best option here for them, but it's something that they could try and pull off. If they want to take a Sonya, they could also do that and play that with a Karasim. So they have a couple of options of how actually to play that. And Malfurion, on the other hand, is being taken, so that makes it kind of unlikely that we're going to see another melee hero. Instead, it's Lunara, and that Lunara damage has been nasty already. Gale Force going into Tyrande. Now, that would be interesting, because Tyrande can, of course, get you the channel interrupt on altars, but I really assumed that they would go into a Sonya here. Sonya plus Johanna at the front line seem to be a very good setup to deal with all of this. Sonya, of course, isn't really like the biggest fan of a Lunara here, and I mean, who is? But still, having that Tyrande can, of course, help you with a bit of a stun lockdown. If you go Zul with Bone Prison into Tyrande stun, vulnerable as well, and then burst that target down, that's nasty. But then again, Malfurion can take his cleanse, and we also have like a Thrall with the Sundering that can work against that if it really starts to come into play. Li Ming, after level 10, is going to use that Disintegrate to just like zone people out. So that's going to make that entire setup a little bit tricky, unless, of course, you can lock the target down in place at the front line. But if only the Bone Prison applies and they move away, it's going to be an issue. So the switch away from Tyrande, I actually like that. I don't really think that Tyrande Uther would have been the best option here, but they still seem to like this a bit damage heavy, with Gale Force now going into the potential Vala. Now with Vala, if you go auto attack, you have, of course, the problem that you have to get very close, and that allows Lunara to really get the damage in. So Vala, in this case, could go for an arrow build. We have seen a couple of auto attack builds, but an arrow build on Towers of Doom seems to be like one of the better choices because of the altars, where you have no minions around that could soak the arrow damage up. So you have a little bit of self-sustain on that as well, and Johanna with a potential like Laws of Hope on level 4 too. An interesting setup, actually, for our first game. So, Towers of Doom, and, well, guys, let's start up. Naventic going up against Gale Force Esports here. Game number 1 at the End of the Storm North America Finals. Alright, everybody, game number 1 here in the best of 3 series at the round of 8 in the winner bracket of the End of the Storm North America Finals. We have Naventic going up against Gale Force Esports. And at this point, to the left side of the map, we already have Azuna playing Thrall, Kenma on Malfurion, McIntyre on Lunara, Erho on Muradin, and Fan on Li Ming. To the right side of the map at the same time, it's Kron on Vala, playing here, of course, for his team Gale Force Esports. We have Hexo in this case, playing Uther. We have A on Falstad, Mystique on Zul, and Killik on Johanna. It's pretty cool to actually see Malfurion back in the meta, or at least in the games here. And of course, one of the things that he can definitely bring to the table... there's a lot of things to talk about already, guys. One of the things that definitely Kenma can do here is use his Tranquility later on to counteract the Poison Nova that we're going to see for Zul. That's going to be a big, big part of it. You can negate a lot of the damage that is being dished out in these situations. But we have a couple of interesting level 1 talents already. Punishment being used. This is actually the first time that I have seen Punishment used. So you get a lot of hatred stacks out of this. Rancor has been given up. Basically, it means that you get your hatred stacks a little bit faster. The cool thing is, like, with the auto attack Vala now being so much stronger, we've seen a couple of adjustments. Even Tempered Discipline on level 13 serves a very cool purpose, because oftentimes what you try to make sure is that you get like always 10 hatred stacks, right? You get this going. It means 30% extra damage on your auto attacks if you can keep those 10 up. But if you don't auto attack for a little bit, they are starting to just degenerate and you're losing your stacks. If you go Tempered Discipline, you add 10 Tempered Discipline stacks on top of the hatred stacks. And that means that they are going to be attacked first. So first of all, you lose the Tempered Discipline stacks, and then you lose the Hatred stacks, which is why Tempered Discipline suddenly makes a play back into the game over Giant Killer, because you can keep those 30% extra damage up for an amazing amount of time. And all about the Hatred stacks, that's of course what we are seeing Punishment being about. With that extra 30%, some people, and in this case it's actually Crowan, have basically said, listen, I prioritize my hatred stacks so highly that Rancor with that attack speed increase is not really that big of a deal to me. I want to make sure that I always get hatred up as fast as I can so that I get the 30% extra damage. So basically all that he has to do is join into a battle, drop an arrow, drop a multi-shot, and then he's already at 8 hatred stacks. 2 more attack and he's at a maximum of 10. So then he gets his 30% extra damage. That's pretty cool. Auto attack Vala, on the other hand, has a couple of disadvantages. One of the biggest problem is that you really have to engage into the fights. Whereas with a multi-shot composite arrow or a normal arrow build, you can stay at a distance thanks to puncturing arrow or thanks to composite arrow, as I mentioned. You can just poke from a distance. You're never really forced to go into auto attack range. You don't have that safety when you actually play with a real auto attack build. So you get incredible damage out as long as you are not getting jumped, but you have to be able to stay safe. And this is not easy, especially of course if you have opponents that can lock you down. So we're gonna keep a close tap on that. That being said, though, the rest of the talents here, we have once again Shade taken, which is like the standard talent for Zul to be taken on level 1. And already the first altar on the map, but Naventic with nice poke here. Zuna at the front, once again trying to go for the kill against Killik. But Johanna is very low. The kill against Malfurion, on the other hand, well played here. Malfurion down, and Gale Esports actually starting to lose a couple of hit points, and they get whittled down, but they got the first kill in the game. The problem is they might lose Mystique, and look at McIntyre with that damage. Oh, but he gets taken down. Kill against Zul, kill against Lunara. Malfurion back to business. Now maybe the kill against Vala. Yes, Vala is dead as well. Vala dying over here, and up there we saw Uther just fall. So overall, 3 kills against 2, and the shots fired against Gale Esports core. A very, very kill-heavy opening already. 5 heroes dying during the battle over the first altar in the game. Manticore now taken 2, another talent that was buffed in the latest patch. Now on your auto attacks you have 60% extra damage on the third one instead of 50. We are also seeing again the Gathering Storm, and that is a talent that has become a bit more popular. Blizzard definitely doing a great job. Fall stats building now with auto attacks still, and also using, of course, that burst build with the Boomerang that is now becoming a lot more popular. Malfurion on level 1 with the Moonburn, and we're seeing Rampant Growth as a level 4 talent. It's going to be interesting to see what he's going to go for on level 7, since he has a cleanse available. But of course, if you go for a cleanse, then you miss out on the Enduring Growth, which is a great talent to have too. Then the only thing that you can really cleanse out, I mean, there's a couple of stuns, of course, that you can get rid of, but the most important thing is probably going to be Zul's Bone Prison. So I'm not quite sure if Kenma is really willing to commit to a cleanse and lose this much heal just to make sure that nobody is getting locked down. And especially the cooldown is, of course, playing a huge role, since cleanse is on a 60-second cooldown, and that is a pretty big commitment. That being said, on the other hand, we're seeing like Charge Blast after Power Hungry. Lockdown attempt against Uther. And they are, on the other hand, yes, they're going to get Uther, but the problem is they're also exposing themselves now. Kenma is so low that he's definitely going to fall, and that leaves them in a 3 versus 3 situation. But Lunara is starting to move in now too. So it's a kill for a kill. It's a decent exchange there. The camp hasn't been taken yet, and Lunara is now back in the fight as well. But there's a level 7 talent, and that forces Gale Esports back for now. Splinter Spear, it's getting a lot more popular these days, was played actually during the group stage too. Of course on level 7 Vala heading into the Searing Arrow attacks, no surprise there. Boomerang being chosen also for Falstad. Lockdown against Zuna, the Bone Prison doing work. And Gale Esports is really starting to get some solid kills in, but they're also low. The save against for Mystique though, since Arrow was getting really aggressive there. Nice poke from Lunara once more, but still nobody falling just yet. And besides that, we are seeing the Scythe increase, the range increase for Zul on level 4, going into the Death's Reach and Ratma's Blessing. Whereas again, Kenma and McIntyre are a little bit isolated from the rest of the team, but they get the kill against Vala. Well played here. Still the pokes happening. Very nice moves, and Zul is now dead as well. Naventic with very good coordination here. They try to go for the second altar, and they're definitely going to get this one. Really well played. Kenma committing to cleanse, by the way. So he commits to the cleanse against the Bone Prison, and of course the stuns that they have as well. Needs to be careful then with his heals. So it's going to be interesting to see how much he's going to commit to, for example, level 13 heal, which he could go for as well. You have quite a few options on Malfurion. And so far, the problem for him is definitely that the team around Gale Esports has been very much focused on Malfurion in a lot of these fights, trying to eliminate the healer from the rest of the setup. On level 7 now, Seeker as well, chosen, and we have the follow-through after Thrall started again with a poke build, especially with his level 1 talent on the Chain Lightning. He has, of course, incredible lane sustain, can keep his mana up at all times, and that makes him such a massive, massive lane bully. McIntyre is trying to poke, but realizes that he's up against 3, which makes the perfect situation for Splintered Spear here once again. So that is exactly what you can do in these situations, and actually it works quite well for him to get a bit more damage spread out, and of course just apply that poison and whittle the opponent down. Level 10 is really going to be the talent where we're going to see quite a bit of stuff happening. I mean, once the heroic abilities are in play, this is really when stuff is going down. And especially with a setup that we could see for the Poison Nova, that's going to be important. That's why Malfurion is now a big part in this game, because his Tranquility can counteract that quite easily. Sundering chosen, the Disintegrate. We're also seeing now the Thornwood Vines. And at the bot lane, look at the kill maybe for Crone. Nah, the heal. Uther is there. Got his back. Crone still alive. Well played there. Vala could go into a Rain of Vengeance here, but in this particular setup, I would actually say that the Rain of Vengeance might even be better than going into Strafe, because there's way too much that could cancel out a Rain of Vengeance. There is the Sun Ring, first of all. Well, actually, like Sun Ring and Stormbolt are the most important things to deal with, but if those are spot on and if they are waiting, then Rain of Vengeance would be cancelled out immediately. So, still, sorry, not Rain of Vengeance, but Strafe would be cancelled immediately. Still, the commitment to Strafe. That basically means that Vala has to really wait for Strafe to be used, or Zuna is just going to cancel it out with the Sun Ring if he sees an opportunity, and doesn't feel like it's going to be a waste for that. We have the Skeletal Mages, by the way, taken. Alright, no Poison Nova against Malfurion. Yeah, in this case, it's a bit of an adjustment. It's actually the first time that I see the talent taken in competitive. So far in competitive matches, I've only seen the Poison Nova. 10 versus 10 heroic abilities. Kenma with a channel. Here comes the Sun Ring, and they try to go for the kill, and here comes the Strafe. Divine Shield Strafe has been used. Oh my god, Vala just barely moving out of the way of this one. That was a close call there. But the altar has been channeled through, and that's now 28 points on the core of Team Gale Force Esports. Zuna moving in. They're getting the kill on the other hand against Malfurion, and the kill against Lunara. All that damage from Crone with his auto attack. Vala is doing solid work. Yep, and there's the triple kill. Gale Force Esports takes down 3 heroes. Well played. Look at that damage output there on the side of Vala. 19k already. Topping the damage of actually like Lunara as well. Only Li Ming has more with 24,000 thanks to the Disintegrate. Now that's 7 kills against 6. Kills in the game, of course, always kind of nice, but at the same time you have to consider that we are still seeing that core on 28 points against 36 right now. So that is always a little bit of a risk. Nobody was able to take a tower from the opponent's team yet. Both of the teams still control 4 on the game. But still, Vala is getting that damage out, and it's really starting to hurt. Again, she has to extend quite a bit. She has to really go deep in these fights, and that's why Uther is going to be an important point in this game as well, because he needs to have her back. He needs to have the Divine Shield ready. And another big asset is, of course, always that Strafe, if you get it through. Nice jump by Arrow, juking them out a little bit. Well, the Dwarf Toss, of course, always comes in handy. The level 13 talents are also going to be quite crucial. Personally, I'm a little bit interested to see what Vala is going to go for the reasons mentioned earlier. I mean, Giant Killer against Mirrodin is a great choice. You can still go into the Temper Discipline if you are afraid for your stacks on the Hatred. And if you want to have, like, also, of course, a bit of sustain. It's not only about maintaining the stack count. It's also everything else that the talent really brings and adds to you. But we have seen, of course, quite a bit of Giant Killer with this setup as well. It's a spell shield over that. I like that too. I mean, in this case, 13 is an amazing talent for Vala. 13 is actually like one of the most versatile talents for Vala in the entire game, because every single talent is amazing. You can take a Frost Shot in the situation, you can go for a Spell Shield, but with all the damage output that we already see on Vala, I actually like that Crone makes the choice to just like play this defensive and say like, yeah, Li Ming is scary. Oh, Sun Ring, Skeletal Mages are also there, good zoning. They're trying to go for the tower, the kill may be against Zuna. Yes, Zuna is down. And now they can go straight for that tower. So they get the tower. 2 altars are spawning out as well. And you can see how all of a sudden this game is starting to look a lot harder for Naventic than it did just a few minutes ago. Because right now they are making the plays. Level 13 talents with also the static shield now after we see the boomerang. A great position for Fan. Fan with an amazing position here and great damage output. Nearly killing Mystique here. And now McIntyre is trying to go for the cleanup. Oh, the poke, and A is moving away. But we're also having now Ice Block chosen, Giant Killer, Malfurion committing to the Ice Block, basically saying, alright, this was a little bit too tricky for me, I don't want to deal with this. 5 shots fired against 3 shots fired, so still a bit of a catch-up play here on the part of Gale Force Esports. We're seeing them now also on level 13 with another Scythe talent. Spectral Scythe is now also slowing for 3 seconds, which is of course amazing theoretically, because you could go into Executioner with Vala now. Vala with Executioner would actually be absolutely, like, it would be so unbelievably crazy. I mean, think about Zul moving and slowing targets down, or like even going for a Shrink Ray. Shrink Ray is of course slowing too, slowing the movement speed. So once actually you are slowed down and then Vala with Execution on level 16 goes in, that is going to wreck faces. Of course, you give up either Stone Skin or Blood for Blood, depending on what kind of setup you go for. But still, with also the level 13 shield, it's something you can definitely pull off if you have good heal behind you. So this is something that we could see now on level 16. Unfair advantage, by the way, and Glass Cannon damage talents on level 13 taken for Naventic. And Naventic is behind in experience at this point. They are actually falling a little bit behind, so they have to be very, very careful about the next few fights here. Talking about damage output once again, Vala is at 26k, is really starting to aim for Li Ming's top pole position here. Oh, nice! There's the rundown once again, damage in. No kills just yet, but a lot of heroics have actually been used in this one. Sunring, Skeletal Mages, and also the Mighty Gust. So disengage on the part of Gale Force Esports, and Naventic is really starting to push the issue right now. They're sieging up at the bottom tower there, and the altar is just spawning behind them. So the altar is there. If they can maintain the position and just rotate someone in, they can channel that through, but it's only going to spawn in 15 seconds. So that's quite a bit of time there. A bit of a wraparound against Murid. Oh my god, Muridin! The prison is there. Crowan with a strafe against a single target, though. Not really getting as much damage in as we were hoping for. Nearly the kill here against Zul, but the Divine Shield saves him. But now they have to move away. Tranquility has been used. And look at that. Gust actually started that disengage off over here, and it's ready again, and they use it for the second time, but now Thrall is going for the channel, and they are going to get this one. That's another 4 shots fired here already, and this is dropping the core down to 21%. The teams are, of course, now both aiming for level 16, and with the push power that we have on Zul, they are actually aiming for another tower up at the top lane. And this tower is like desperately needed, because at the bottom of the map, you can guess it, we are seeing Naventic move in. They took this one away. So it's a 5 versus 3 situation right now. The problem is you can't really stay here for too long, and they might have overstayed already. Here comes the Sundering, trying to lock them down. Vala is escaping though, but what about Zul? Nice move. Okay, well played here. They get them away once again in the Mighty Gust. Make sure that they can escape. Or can they? Because Zul is still in a bit of trouble. Gets locked down. Divine Shield isn't ready, but Mystique is able to get away. So once, oh, is he? Well, there's the heal, and yeah, that barely worked, but still, things are starting to look a little bit difficult now. Level 16, are we going to see the damage on Vala? Is she going to go for the Executioner here, or are we going to see a bit more sustain for her? Already the Forked Lightning for the extra spam on the Chain Lightning. Hardened Focus now taken as well, and the Starwood Spear. And Vala, she fears for her safety. No Executioner, not even with Zul's level 13 talent. So instead, what we are currently seeing is, again, a blood for blood. Safety first. We're seeing 2 Hardened Focus, by the way. One on Malfurion and the other one on Uther. But the cool thing for Naventic is that they just like rotate around the opponent. They take the tower at the top, they lose the one at the bottom. So they are always 1 tower up now, and they just rotate on the map, which is incredibly important here, of course. Flowing Wounds now taken, so cooldown reduction as well, which is pretty cool. I mean, you can keep constant. The cool thing here is that you can actually have like a constant amount of slow on the opponent with this now too. You can actually spam that out during big team fights if you position yourself properly. Talking positioning, Johanna at the front line as the only frontliner here with an imposing presence right now, which is going to make it incredibly difficult for McIntyre to get dish out damage. But no, again, Zul very much far at the front, got locked down, needed to be divine shielded, and here comes Muridin. Erho, full HP, wants to go for the kill. Vala is already dead at the top, but the fight over here is still raging, and that's the kill against Zul. Nice body block, and Fan takes advantage of that, gets the missiles in, and drops Zul right away. That is exactly what they needed here. 5 towers under their control, and if they get both of these altars, they are going to get a massive amount of shots, and it will drop it down to 7. The first 5 have been fired, and now we see Lunara just simply channeling the next one. Great play here from Naventic once more. It was a bit of a scary moment, actually, in the middle of the match when we suddenly had Gale Force Esports go for that triple or quad kill that we saw at the bot lane. But right now, Naventic is going to run this show, and they are looking very, very strong here, moving in for the next tower. It's again going to be an exchange with the top lane being attacked by Hexa and Killick, but overall, Naventic definitely running this game. And the only thing that really Gale Force Esports can do about it is try and force a bit of a team fight and control that. Currently, Vala at 41,000 damage. We're seeing Li Ming on 47,000. Fan with an exceptional job so far. But Vala also dying 3 times. And that just caters once again to the problem with Vala. It just showcases that for her to dish all the damage out, she has to get very deep into these fights. And has to just expose herself to the opponent, which is going to make things very difficult. Especially if you only have one frontliner in the form of Johanna. There's of course Zul to consider as well. But he doesn't really have too much sustain with the build that he's currently using here. here. Whereas Li Ming from the backline can always fire another Disintegrate off, or just simply, as Fan currently does, spam a few Arcane Orbs and also get those Seekers in. So right now, the missile damage is there. And look at the poke from McIntyre as well. I mean, we've been talking about Vala, we've been talking about Li Ming, but Lunara's at 39 damage as well. That was an interesting gust, very deep, and the kill against Zul immediately afterwards. There's the kill against Johanna. A gets away. This is also another kill against Hexer potentially. Yes, Uther is down. Vala is trying to get some additional damage in, but that's not going to happen. Fan is zoning her out completely. Good job by him. They're going to go for another altar. It's a triple altar on the map right now, by the way. And this is going to be the end of it. One altar is all they need, and they're definitely going to get that. Falstad, I think it was more of a desperation move than anything else. I mean, he flew in. He didn't gust anybody. Everybody moved out of the way. Malfurion used Ice Block immediately, so he wouldn't be affected. And he didn't gust anybody in. Everybody else was exposed. Now there's the kill against Vala. And this is, of course, the end of it. Game number 1 ending in favor of Team Naventic, the 1-0 lead in the series. GG, and well played. Game number 2, everybody, is starting up with Cursed Hollow being the map, and Naventic is currently in the lead with the 1-0 against Gale Force Esports. So at this point, we have Gale Force with the first ban here. We've seen them earlier also just like getting rid of Zeratul. And I mean, Zeratul is a pretty scary tool. Naventic in the past has already shown several times how strong they are actually with him. And this is coming down to basically the question of, yeah, there it is. Are you alright playing Zeratul yourself if they don't ban it or not? And apparently they're not. So right now we're having a Gale Force Esports banning out Zeratul. Naventic, I kind of doubt that they're going to ban Zul. I mean, like, they didn't do it in the first game, and I don't really see a reason why they suddenly would. So far, they seem to work really well with the setup. Then again, they had first pick, actually, so they ended up in a scenario where they got Li Ming, and that might be something that Gale Force Esports is now going to try and take away from them. Fan played an exceptional Li Ming in game number 1, like, no doubt about that. But at this point, Cursed Hollow is, of course, a bit of a different ball game, especially since I feel that Falstad is going to be even higher prioritized on this map than on Towers of Doom. He is, of course, amazing on Towers of Doom as well, but I still feel that Cursed Hollow is even a bit more his turf. Li Ming even banned. Okay, so they're saying, like, if we don't get her, you don't get her either. Apparently, Naventic doesn't really value Zul very highly. So in this case, I mean, they didn't take him, they don't ban him. They're just saying, like, if you want to play Zul, just play with Zul, that's fine. It was interesting to see that Zul didn't go for Poison Over in the last game, but with the Malfurion picked, like, I think Malfurion was really the pick where Naventic said, okay, we need something to get a bit more AoE heals in. And that's where, of course, Tranquility is pretty sweet. Gale Force Esports, the first pick Zul. They're saying, alright, we're going to take him here, so maybe a bit of a different approach on him. They could go into more of a burst comp with maybe the Bone Prison or something like that. But Naventic, they go for, it's more or less a Cloud9 move. Muradin locked down. King Caffeine, is it you? This time not, but still, Muradin, of course, a really strong hero. Greymane as well. Greymane prioritized. That was actually Naventic's ban in the last game. So again, when you're looking at the North American scene, I feel like going from team to team, there's very different ban patterns and pick patterns that we have. But especially Cloud9 and also Naventic, they really prioritize heroes like Muradin and also like Greymane. You see them banned out a lot, you see them picked early, you see really the draft being designed a little bit around them. And for Gale Force, it's now an opportunity to, first of all, of course, pick Rhaegar if they want him. They seem to lean a little bit towards Uther in the last game, and we've seen Rhaegar actually not taken in this series just yet. Most of the teams that we've seen so far in the European scene and in the North American scene, even after the patch, still value Rhaegar quite highly. It, of course, hit him a little bit that you can't ancestral yourself anymore, but at the same time, you can still get a lot of value out of Rhaegar. You just have to play him with a bit of a different positioning. It's more like a backline support right now, before you could, like, commit more to frontline play as well. You, of course, shouldn't really, like, run in as a tank as is, but still, you could be a bit more aggressive with your playstyle. Gale Force decides to go into a Thrall. That was played by Naventic in the last game, Zuna actually on the hero, but Thrall, always a huge asset, can be comboed off with a lot of other stuns, can be comboed off with an ETC, can be comboed off with the Diablo, even though we haven't seen that in quite some time. And is overall just a really, really scary badass that you have in your setup. And that is going to help. They don't have range damage yet, and Falstad has still not been taken. They go for the Uther. They prioritize Uther high enough that they say, hey, we want to have that Divine Shield on Thrall, and we're going to pick Uther right now. That means they leave Rhaegar be. They also didn't pick Falstad, and ETC is banned out by Naventic because they're saying, hey, you have a Thrall already. We don't want to go Sundering into Mosh Pit, and we don't want to risk that you use that Divine Shield on the ETC as well. Uther already brings you enough value. We're not going to try and add to that as well. Mosh Pit is just one of the things that a lot of the teams are scared of for very, very good reason. It can decide a game, and in this case, Naventic bans it out. Gale Force, they have a couple of ban options at this point. Keep in mind that we're still talking range damage, and we have Falstad on the map, and Cursed Hollow is one of the best Falstad maps in the game, actually. So Falstad could be a ban, but there's a lot more options than only Falstad. I mean, we're talking about a potential ban on a hero like Rhaegar. We're talking about a potential ban on maybe like even a Sonya. A Zagara as well, with map vision that she gives you, disengage potential that you have. We already saw Zeratul banned out. Zeratul, of course, with the Void Prison in a similar situation oftentimes, with a Heroic at least, when you compare to Zagara more. It's a little bit different how they work, but both of them are great tools for, first of all, an engage and also an disengage, depending on where you are on the map. And Zagara gives you a lot of control of the position with which you can approach a tribute. If she has good vision, she can also like always make sure that you have a bit of an idea what's happening around the bosses. So map control is really what she's strong at. But that's why we could see now a Falstad taken. We could see a Falstad plus a Rhaegar, for example. But it's a bit of a different approach, apparently, when it comes to support. Tacita. And that's going to become quite interesting, because A, is it going to be a double support? Tacita plus Tyrande, Tacita plus Brightwing. Or are we going to see them in a situation where they also like play with a Tacita now towards a melee assassin? We have, for example, in the group stage seen oftentimes really a huge focus on Illidan's. Illidan's haven't really made an appearance today, but there is a bruiser at least, so Sonya would work. As we said before, Murden Sonya is really good. Tacita helps her. But coming back to that Illidan thought, not going to happen in this game, but keep that in mind, because we've seen it quite a bit during the group stage, and we could see that again. Tacita, Rhaegar, together with an Illidan can be absolutely, like, it can be so scary. It can really ruin your day, especially in the later stage of the game. It's, of course, a bit of a one-trick pony move, but still, if you get through with that, that's pretty amazing. Gale Force, they need a frontliner. Again, we're talking about Johanna most likely. Johanna would be strong here. I'm not really sure if you would go for Stitches in this particular setup. And they really seem to value their Vala. Vala, as the auto attack damage dealer, is going to get solid damage in against Muradin. Personally, I would still like them going for maybe a Reign of Vengeance. She has to come, if she commits to an auto attack build, that is. If it's an auto attack build, oh, screw the tank. Alright, Gale Force Esports says like, well, we don't need a tank. And that's a ballsy statement. Sonya Muradin against them, and they have no tank. It's a massive damage output, don't get me wrong. I mean, Thrall, Vala, Falstad, that's kind of scary. And Naventic decides to react and actually go into a Brightwing right now. For Polymorph, it's the double support that we've been talking about. No Rhaegar commitment or anything, but in this case, just Brightwing for additional shields, control, and vision. And that draft is very interesting. Again, only a focus on Thrall and Zul at the front line, with Uther, of course, trying to stay behind them a little bit, even though he is melee. But that is an interesting setup that Gale Force Esports is running right now for Cursed Hollow. Call me intrigued. We've seen a couple of no-tank compositions already during the groups, but that is a huge commitment to that in such an important game. If they lose here, if Gale Force Esports loses this game, they drop to the losers bracket. But guys, let's jump in and find out if they can pull it off. Gale Force Esports versus Naventic on Cursed Hollow. Game number 2, everybody, between Naventic and Gale Force Esports. Starting to the left side of Cursed Hollow, our second map. We have Gale Force Esports currently with Thrall, played by Crowan. We have Mystique currently on Vala, on Falstad, Kilik on Zul, and Hexo on Uther. And you already realized one thing, there's no tank in this setup. And that's not by accident, they actually drafted a no-tank combo. And to the right side of the map, we are seeing Naventic with more of a traditional setup, I want to say. Double support here for them, though. Zuna on Sonya, McIntyre on Tacita, Kenma on Brightwing, Aho on Muradin, and Fan on Greymane. And, well, yes, that's indeed my Twitch link. That's correct. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, there's the paste. Okay, there we go. All right, Hexo is French king of stinky cheese. All right, I'm not quite sure what's happening right now, but I'm sure the boys are having fun. We have, of course, like a lot of like heroes of the sports scene where people are oftentimes making a little bit fun of Zuna since he had a couple of games on Leoki in the past where he had a pretty decent death counter. So I'm pretty sure that some people are already joking about a double support being drafted by Naventic only to try and keep Zuna alive in these games. But he actually played a very solid game on his Thrall in the last match, and I'm really curious to see how that double support, double tank combo is now working off against this. Kenma already in a bit of trouble at the bot lane, but, well, there's first of all a Stormbolt against Killing, and there could also now be another Polymorph pretty soon. Tri-lanes for both teams at the bottom now. And well, we have a couple of actually things to talk about. First of all, we are seeing again an auto attack Vala, and this time it's actually Rancor. At this point, I'm really asking myself if it was a misclick in the last game where we also saw an auto attack build, but we actually saw the ability hatred stacks, which is kind of interesting to think about. But yeah, right now with Rancor taken at level 1, there's still the question if that was a misclick or not. In theory, I feel if you think that you have to move over the map quite a lot and you arrive at the battle with the 0 hatred stacks, I guess you could make an argument for the ability hatred stacks. 4 is nothing to joke about, and if you just spam 2 abilities, you're already at max stacks more or less. But yeah, it's still pretty interesting to see that. So a bit of a switch around. It would be cool if like all of the level 1 talents on Vala would suddenly be viable. I would actually like that a lot. For now, we are also seeing Falstad with an auto attack build too, so there's a lot of auto attack damage. And one of the reasons why we see Block chosen by Thrall, who's by the way inhabiting the top lane right now. Thrall is natural habitat, the solo lane. We have him as the only, so to say, tank on this setup. I mean, of course, Shade is there as well. This is one of the things that can be used now too. It's actually like a pretty cool talent, and it's like the standard talent at this point, more or less, for him. The level 4 is going to give us pretty normal like stats, talents for most of the setup for Naventic. I mean, they're playing the traditional lineup here right now. But at the same time, we have now Manticore taken, we see the Power Throw, we have Jailers again, which is by... It's actually like an interesting choice, because by most of the teams that you will see in Europe at least, it's always the range, like the oh my god, nice! The trap and the kill against Sonya. But they're most likely going to give up this particular tribute for it. Well, already Ace trying to fly in, gets stunned down, and yeah, they gave up a tribute for a kill. Not sure if that was really worth it. I mean, yes, you get the kill against Sonya, but what do you actually get? I mean, you lose the tribute, you are not really far ahead in experience, and the death time at this point is so low that you're not really getting a massive advantage out of it. So I'm not quite sure if it was actually worth it. If they could have gone for the interrupt with Falstad and moved down, I think that would have been great, but in this setup, Naventic was just a little bit too good for that. They saw the spot where Falstad was trying to fly in, they sent Muradin over, he stunned him out at the right moment just before he was trying to go for the Hammerang, and that worked quite well. But as I said, Jailers is a very popular talent on the North American server. Europe, again, we're talking regions, right? So it's pretty sweet to actually see different metas develop in different regions. And for Europe on level 4, it's mostly actually the increased range on the scythe. We have seen that in the last game, by the way, as well. So North America is currently switching between the two. It's actually pretty sweet. Like Zulu overall, especially after the last few patches that we've seen, where he was changed a little bit, is currently played differently by whatever team plays him. So it's really a matter of preference, and that's exactly what a hero should be. That you have choices that you can make. But well, right now, we're seeing another tribute on the map. Zul is inhabiting the top lane, and that's the scary part. If you have Zul actually starting to take down structures while one of the objectives is on the map, and he's going to stay there for a long time. Thrall is down on the other hand, and wow, Naventic really wants kills now, don't they? They get the kill against at least Thrall, and they get the second tribute too, taken by Tacita. But this bad boy up here, with the camp that he took earlier, is now suddenly starting to make a lot of work happen. I mean, look at that siege damage on him. He needs to move back, though. I mean, Killing is really overstaying his welcome at this point. I'm not quite sure why he's like dancing around for that long, because he needs, I mean, like, sorry, but like Captain Obvious called and he wants his map vision back. Because that was a bit of an obvious attack. I can't believe that he might get away. No, okay, he's not, but that was way, way closer than I thought, considering that 3 people jumped him. So that was more or less an obvious rotation to hit him. I guess he just thought, alright, it's worth it. But look at experience. Even though all of this has been taken down, we are still seeing Naventic in the experience lead. And they are really starting to pressure this. Mystic is playing very aggressively against Zuna here. This could be the curse now, though, because at the top lane, I don't think there's anyone who can really deal with this. It's a 3 versus 3 down here. It's going to be a 4 versus 3 in a few seconds, but right now, Hexo is starting to take a lot of damage. McIntyre isn't there, though, and Muradin has to jump out, but they are very, very low, and the turnaround could happen. Kenma again low, trying to get away. What? How is he alive? How is he alive? What just happened? Brightwing just died and came back like that. No way. How did Brightwing just survive this? Like, I have no clue. But of course, she can jump into the fight again, and this is going to be the curse. This is going to be an easy curse against the blue team. So they are cursed already. I can't believe that Kenma is alive. I cannot believe that just happened. I mean, it looked like he was already, like, dead. And I didn't even see any hit points anymore. There was like nothing left. And then all of a sudden she just moves away and is just like, nah, I got this. And moves out. So that's all calculated, of course. I mean, Kenma all calculated. Killick, on the other hand, didn't really calculate what would happen there. And that's the second kill now against Zul. Fan on his Greymane this time, doing some solid work. Wrath of the Berserker, Force Wall, Blink Heal, Avatar, and also go for the throat. And Krone is already on the run. And that is the tank, so to say. Yeah, they really want their kills now, and they are going deep. I mean, they have the curse, but just look at that. No fear whatsoever, no shame at all. Brightwing jumps in, Thrall down, and that's... oh my god, down goes Vala. 5 kills against 1. They get the kills everywhere. Top lane Ford is being pressured by the wave and eliminated, and they're just simply going for the keep at this point. They're like, Ford? Why would we attack the Ford? What the hell? Like, we are not gonna stop at a fort. No, we're gonna let the minions do that. That's like minion work. We are too important for this. We're actually gonna take the wall. Jokes aside, it's a really smart move. If you have taken heroes down and you're already between structures, going for the keep here makes perfect sense because you also eliminate the wave that is moving out, and that means that your minions are gonna have an easy time pushing down the opponent's fort. So that's exactly what we just saw there. Reign of Vengeance, by the way, this time has been taken. So Reign of Vengeance, the Poison Nova, totally different playstyle that we're seeing from Team Gale Esports right now in this setup. We are seeing them also with, I mean, like a bit of a trap, but McIntyre is having none of it. McIntyre is having none of it, and he also dodges the Bone Prison quite nicely. But there's still the attack against the boss, and look at Vala. Look at that damage by Vala and Falstad. Pam, pam, pam. The problem is, they are not alone. 4 heroes are in. Mighty Gust way too early, bro. Way too early. They didn't do anything, and now they're jumping in. Once again, the kill potentially against Mystique. The boss has been claimed by the blue team, but are they going to keep their heroes alive? They're even... no, Falstad is down. Falstad is down, and now we're going to see even more kills happening, aren't we? Yeah, this could be Muradin. Oh, jumps in instead of out. Brightwing! Trying to keep him alive, but now Brightwing is dead, and it's a triple kill. It's a quad kill. Killing is going to fall too. No way that Zul is going to escape here. Yeah, the Uther Ghost is trying to keep him alive, but guess what? Not going to happen. Vala is the only one just barely escaped here. Level 13 talents already. Yeah, Tacit, of course, has to deal with the boss, but that's not really a big deal just yet. It's a very, very early boss, and the scaling changes. I mean, the real damage kicks in a little bit later. So for now, we're actually seeing the mid lane being pushed. The camp alone together with Kenma is going to easily take down the fort, or at least bring it to the brink of elimination. And it's just an incredible position right now, once again, for Naventic. They're talking 9 kills against 2. They're looking really, really strong here. And we have them now with the Shield Dust, with Burning Rage, with On the Prowl taken after the Wolf Heart, and another tribute already on the map. And without the level 13 talent, there's absolutely no chance for the team in blue to contest it. So they're not even trying. They're not even trying. I mean, why would they go for the tribute? They know that if they go, they're going to get annihilated. Well, the Reign of Vengeance. Talking damage, by the way, just to give you a bit of an update here. Vala again on the 20k damage. Best damage dealer on their part of the map. Actually, like, overall, she has the highest damage in the game. Even higher than Greymane right now. Just by a few hundred, but still. Vala with very, very solid damage output. Damage output with the auto attack build is incredibly strong. It's just like the safety that's a problem for you. Thrall has been dying 3 times, so has Zul. They have no tank, so the 2 melees have to really try and just like eat the damage and somehow sustain them. But this is definitely a problem, and now a boss is now taken up at the top lane. 10 minutes in, So boss, of course, has been activated a little bit earlier, so it's a 9-minute boss that they currently get. The big scaling changes, of course, happen at 6, 11, 16, and 21. But for now, still a boss that's going to allow them to go straight for the wall over here, focus the attention a little bit in, so they can actually like push with the boss. They have the vision already set up. They can try to go for a bit of a flank. Muradin's already in the middle. I doubt that anybody else is really going to commit to try and take Muradin out because they know that this is more or less a trap. And here comes again, this time the Giant Killer. Giant Killer taken for 2 heroes. Both of the auto attack heroes go for Giant Killer. So Muradin is going to be attacked, but we have double support. And double support should actually take this, double support in this case should actually really be able to keep all of that alive. We have at the same time the Curse Strikes now, with the Giant's Curse, so you actually deal extra damage now as well. And especially against, like, all of these talents are strong against Muradin. We have the level 13 talent with the Giant's, like, instead of Giant Killer, it's Giant's Curse. So double Giant Killer, Giant's Curse, all of these talents super strong. Yeah, A tried to fly in and use Mighty Gust. That didn't work at all. Now he's needs to be careful. Here's the Mighty Gust now finally. But also the Poison Over at the same time. And guess what? That cancels each other out. Only 2 heroes were hit. Thrall is already dead. And the Rain of Vengeance hits once. It's now, well, no, one time. Down goes Zul and falls dead. Is he gonna fall? Fan, can he jump in and take him down? It doesn't look like it. But still, I mean, it was really unfortunate to use the Poison Over at roughly the same time that Forster decided to use the Mighty Gust there. Only 2 heroes were hit because of it. Everybody else was just pushed out, and now it's level 16 talents versus level 13, and they are just simply going for a kill on the keyboard. At least they're trying to poke. But with Thrall coming back, they don't really want to risk anything. Sundering wasn't even used in the last fight, and of course they noticed that, so they know that the heroic is still up, and they don't want to go up against the Sundering with everybody already being kind of low. So once again, everybody is starting to move up to the top lane. We're currently seeing in the middle Hexo and Crowan starting to push the lanes back here. As you can tell here, we have the Curse. This is like the Curse tribute, right? So let's double check the boss at the bot lanes. Now 50 seconds. They are currently trying to time that a little bit so that they can actually still take the camps on the map. They have perfect vision here also with the watchtower, which is another thing to, of course, consider. So they're going to activate the camp down here as well. And Muradin is still waiting. So they're taking camp after camp, try to delay it long enough so that the camps move on to lane even. And they know that with the 16 talent, there's no chance for the blue team to move in. So they're actually just waiting for the camps to move on to lane. Now they get the curse. This is maximum value that they get out of this. The camp is already here in the middle, starting to push in. And now they also have, I mean, they could even like go for the boss at some point. It's 10 seconds. They could rotate down. But first of all, they're going to try and push a few of the structures in. And before, I mean, this entire level, before level 16 is hit. So they're already set up, ready to go. And the camps are starting to move into bosses up at the bot lane, but there's just pressure on every single lane. Brightwing is the only one in the middle, by the way. Everybody else rotated to the top. Brightwing can, of course, jump in. And there's the fight. If Brightwing jumps in, Zul is, by the way, in the middle as well. So that's another thing to consider here. Oh, here comes the lockdown attempt against Zuna. Oh, the heals thanks to Brightwing and the kill against Vala. And this is the beginning of the end. Down goes Falstad, 18 versus 15, the kill against Uther 2. This is the kill against Thrall, and of course this is going to be Gale. Everybody dead and dying, Zul is eliminated, it's a team wipe. The bot lane is being pushed in now too. We're seeing the same in the middle, all of the keeps are falling, and this is the end of the game. And a 2-0 victory for Naventic, who will go up against Team Blaze in the semi-final of the winner bracket. And, of course, we are going to see Gale Force Esports drop down into the losers bracket now, where they still have another chance here at the End of the Storm North America Finals. GG, well played, and Naventic with a 2-0 victory.
And that is it, everybody. GG and well played. The game's over, and therefore also the video for today here on Khaldor TV. We had another great Heroes of the Storm match, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Also hope that you enjoyed the commentary, of course. So thank you very much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up on YouTube. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to Khaldor TV yet, you should definitely hit that sub button as well. If you have some friends that like Heroes of the Storm, then definitely make sure that you show them the channel and also the video. There's a lot more where that came from. We're going to have like continuous content throughout the next few weeks with more Heroes of the Storm matches played, not only on the European server, but also on the North American server, in tournaments, in leagues, and more than that. So guys, once again, thank you very much for tuning in today. I hope that you had some fun. It was a pleasure casting for you. And I'm going to see you next time with even more videos here on the channel. So have a great day and see you soon. Bye-bye.